Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and another card making video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about customizing your cards, making them personalized for a specific person. So some little tips and tricks along the way. This is also episode 4 of my August stamp set of the month series featuring the Forest Party stamp set from Trinity Stamps. So all month long, every Tuesday, I've been giving you some new ideas with this stamp set. And for today's cards, we're making A2 size cards that are very customized, very personalized. So we're gonna jump right in with the stamping and take a look at this month's stamp set of the month. Here we go. Here is the Forest Party stamp set from Trinity Stamps, all stamped out. At the beginning of the month, I stamped out 5 sheets of all the images. I'm going to use 2 of them today. I am also going to be using some images from this stamp set to stamp out backgrounds for today's cards. So I am taking this teeny tiny circle for my first card, stamping it with Copic friendly black ink onto this kind of craft colored cardstock. I'm going to be stamping it randomly across this entire panel, and randomly means I'm not trying to strategically place it so it looks like a perfectly polka dotted background. I'm stamping some of them off the edge, and after I ink it, I'm going to turn it and rotate the stamp so it's not always facing the same direction. It's not quite a perfect circle because this actually is a cookie. All right, so now I'm going to set to coloring these. I'm using E34 to color in each of these circles. Now, when I'm coloring it, I'm trying on purpose to leave a little bit of a highlight on the right-hand side. So I'm not completely coloring in this image. On some of them, you can see it really well. Others, I didn't quite get it, but I didn't want to use a white gel pen to leave a highlight on these. So that's the point there. Next, I'm using E49 to create the chocolate chips in my cookies. So now let's talk about a couple tips for customizing your cards. So this card was thought of because of an inside joke that me and my daughter have, and I will explain it as we go throughout this video. But using like a special memory or an inside joke or somebody's favorite thing is a great inspiration for starting a customized card. Now I am adding a shadow to each of these cookies using E31 so that they don't look so flat on the card. And there's the 3 markers I used to create my background. Now we're going to stamp out the background for card number 2. So I have a piece of white cardstock, same Copic friendly ink, and I am stamping this one with the single strawberry image from this stamp set. And you can see some of those I didn't quite stamp very well. So I'm going to fix that with a liner pen as I go. But just again, randomly stamping this, and that is another way that I chose to customize my cards was by taking one image from this stamp set and using it repeatedly in different ways. So I used like the strawberry or the cookie as the background. I'm also going to use it as a image on the focal point of my card, and then I'm going to use kind of some punny sentiments having to do with cookies and berries on my card. So repeating the same element can really help that customizing of a card stand out. All right, so now after I've colored in my strawberries, I did use 2 shades of red. I colored in the stems with green, and then I can go in with that liner pen and kind of finish out the lines that I missed when I stamped. Now to really make these strawberries special, I took my white gel pen and added some dots to them to be their seeds. And then I used my N1 marker for the shadows on these images to complete that background. So there's my finished background and the 4 markers I used to create it. And now we're going to move on to the colored images. So I have these already colored out, and I wanted to show you the 2 different sheets, one for the cookies and one for the strawberries. I'm going to save the rest of those images and probably use them for episode 5, and there you can see all the Copic markers I used. And here are the images all cut out with their coordinating dies. They're so cute, all cut out. I love it. I brought in this etched circle die set from Trinity and die cut out the 4th circle from the outside, and it gives it that nice etched line around the edge. I am using a bit of Salvaged Patina, and I'm going to dust that on about 2/3 of the way, or maybe even 3/4 of the way, to create a sky. Now I am not doing anything special, I'm just doing a really light hand, and then I'm bringing in Rustic Wilderness to add a little green to the bottom. The circle just looked better with a little bit of color on it. Next, I am going to cut around the bear's paw on this image, just on that, I guess it would be his right paw, and then I have a little opening that I can tuck something special into. And of course, on one card it'll be the cookie, and the other card it'll be the strawberry. So what I do is I just use a light hand and I go around that 2 or 3 times. I find it much easier to start out with a light hand and repeatedly go around than to use a heavy hand and try to cut it right the first time. That's what worked for me. I do feel very X-Acto knife challenged, so that technique has really helped me. So I did the same thing for the second bear and the little strawberry, and I just put a little dot of glue behind there to secure it. And then you can see I kind of have my scenes laid out how I am going to attach them. Then all I need to do is glue everything into place. So all of these images will be glued down with my Barely Art glue, and you can see the stump is a little bit bigger than the circle. I'm just going to trim that off. So I'm going to glue down the bear, and then I'll add in those cute little elements to go with. On one, it was the cookies on the plate and a cookie in his hand, and now I have a jar of strawberry jam and the strawberries. And speaking of customizing, this card was inspired by one of my daughter's favorite things, strawberries. She likes strawberry decor, strawberries to eat, strawberry flavored things. So this was inspired by one of her favorite things. And now I'm trimming off the edge just of the trunk, not the bear's ear. I felt that could hang off just a little bit. Now I'm going to adhere these to some colored cardstock circles. So green for the strawberry card and brown for that cookie card. So you can see here I'm kind of playing with that cookie inspiration, adding the focal elements of these cards onto circles, like the shape of the cookie. That's what inspired the circle shape, and I decided to repeat it with the strawberries. Now I am bringing in my alphabet set. This is the graham cracker alphabet, and I'm going to die cut out the letters to spell out the word cookies. So that's another great way to customize your card, is using either alphabet stamps or alphabet dies, because then you can create your own sentiment, and that's really what helps with the customization. So I'm using the word berry on the strawberry card with my alphabet die, and what I did is I glued down the center letter first and then glued the outer letters after that. If I try to do like a ruler or like measure things out and mark it, I inevitably make it worse than if I just freehand it. So then I have the same I did the same thing with the word cookies, gluing that into place, and then I'm popping up both of those circles. And now it's time for an even more customized sentiment that I typed up and printed out on my computer, which is something I like to do a lot whenever I am making customized cards. So this says, would be nice, and the other one says, proud of you. So proud of you is going to go with Barry, so Barry, proud of you. And then cookies would be nice comes from a TV show that my daughter and I watched together. It's Survivor. I don't know if you watch Survivor, but during this time of quarantine life, my daughter and I actually rewatched every season of Survivor. And in case you don't know, there are 40 seasons of Survivor, and that was one of the lines in one of the episodes, and we just thought it was so very hilarious. Cookies would be nice. If you want to know more about that, leave me a comment in the questions below and I will tell you more about cookies would be nice. But that's customized for my daughter. So once I was done, I decided the sentiments, the die cut letters just weren't standing out enough on my card. So I actually die cut them all again and I glued on a second layer, and that really helped them to stand out and be more prominent on my card. So I loved how that looked, and I think that these cards turned out super cute. I love the fun stamped backgrounds. I haven't done a hand stamp background like this in a while, and it's definitely one of my favorite techniques to do. And so just remember, when you're customizing your card, use your alphabets and your stamps, dies to customize your sentiment. Maybe also pair that with one that you could print out, type up and print out, and then repeat that image that makes this card customized, like the cookie or the strawberry on your card, to really customize it. And speaking of customizing, it would be really fun to give this card like with a bag of homemade cookies or a jar of strawberry jam that I've made. Or you could give it with an experience like making cookies together or jam together. And also, it's always nice to give it as a surprise for no occasion, just something to brighten someone's day. So I hope this encourages you to make a customized card for a friend that maybe needs a little day brightening themselves. I thank you so much for stopping by. If you've missed any of the episodes that came before this one, I'll have them linked for you below, as well as all the supplies I used, and I'll see you next Tuesday with episode 5. Happy stamping! Bye!